Hi, I'm going to read my story. It's the rewritten, it's a rewritten chapter of All Quiet on the Western Front, and it's chapter 12, and it's sort of towards the end of the story, and All Quiet on the Western Front is about this guy named Paul, and he's in World War I, and he's fighting on the Western Front, and yeah, so for English I had to rewrite a chapter, and this is what it is. So I hope you enjoy. I walk the snow-covered streets of Germany. It's late November and the war has ended. And now a new war begins. An internal conflicting emotional struggle upon my absent mind. The war of returning home. I mindlessly walk. Thoughts flying over my head. I can barely stand it. It's almost as if I am nothing anymore. As if all I had ever accomplished has been washed away in the blood of the battlefield. I know this street. I walked it almost every day when I was a schoolboy, but that was a lifetime ago. I meander through the hurricane of white and the flickering of lampposts. I can barely make out the houses, but I still remember where home is. I ring the doorbell. What I'm going to say, I do not know. She slowly creeps open the door and peeks outside. She pauses for a moment. I wonder if she can still recognize me. "Paul, come inside. I bet you're freezing out there," says her almost a bit too friendly. I follow her indoors. It's warm. I sit on one of the recliners beside the fireplace. She offers me bread, but I decline. She sits down across from me. She stares at me as if it is I who should start the conversation. I look over at Mom. "How's she doing?" As if rehearsed. "Well, she's been home a couple of weeks, but her cancer is getting worse by the day." Mom's weak. Even a blind person could tell. I watch her frail chest move up and down, a challenge in every breath. Every gasp of air she turns the room into an echoing chamber of suffering. I notice her bruised fingers fidgeting at her sides, and her shriveled hair dangling from her scalp. I can't stand to look at her. Nothing reminds me more of the losses of my fellow comrades than seeing death capturing its next prey. I can't stand to look at her. Nothing reminds me more of the losses of my fellow comrades than seeing death capturing its next prey right in front of my eyes. My sister drew my attention back. She wants to know everything. How I survived all the fighting, how I brought honor to my country, and when I was told that the war had ended. First I answered that I survived with luck and skill. How I brought honor to my country? Yes, killing innocent lives is quite honorable. So I answer with the cliché, because I fought for what I believed in. As for the last question, I start from the death of my reliable cat. And Cat's another character. It's not like a feline. It's a guy named Cat. Well, nickname's Cat. Just to clarify. It was October. We didn't know then, but the war would be over in less than a month. Cat had just been killed. Now I was in the hospital waiting for my friend to return. But he was gone. After being escorted out of the hospital, I went for a run. I ran so far, or at least it seemed like I did. I went for a run. I ran so far, or at least it seemed like it. I wanted to get away, but war was all around me. An inescapable maze of pain and turmoil. I tripped. I'm not sure what I tripped on because all I remember was gouging my tear-stained face into the barbed wire that had been relaxing with evil thoughts on the ground. The sharp wires pierced my skin and tore apart across my face, digging deep into my bloody flesh. Anger flooded into my bloodstream. I felt every inch of my body disappearing into a dark abyss as I passed out from the pain. I awoke in the hospital 3 weeks later. Doctors said I had been in a coma. I believe I just didn't want to wake up to see any more of this life I had wasted for war. It had been first a rumor fluttering around the doctors, but then we were told by our generals that the war was over and we would be returning home soon. Silence. I stopped speaking. It's been too quiet. I look up to my sister, and I can tell she realizes what I've noticed. We simultaneously scan across the room until we stop at our dusty green sofa. Upon it lies our mother, dead. Her chest stays flat, her eyes are shut, and her elder fingers have stopped moving. She's gone, and so is my last attachment to childhood. I tell my sister that I need to be excused, and that I'll see her tomorrow. I head outside. I start running, but I can't escape it. It's everywhere. I run, it follows. The past creeps behind me, and I become engulfed by its ever-lingering shadow. It sneaks upon my back and clasps my throat together so that I can no longer breathe. It shoves its evils down my throat and attaches itself inside my heart, taking away everything of importance to me. I have no one. The snow stains my scarred face. The snow stains my scarred face, reminded me of my lost comrades and my dear mother, as the memories trickled down like bloody sweat. I can't take this any longer. I run inside a bar. I need alcohol, for there is something I must do that I wish not to be sober for. I forget what I ordered, but man, it was one of the best drinks I had had in years. Oh, it's so windy. Sorry. I need a second. I gulp down the second in a matter of moments. The alcohol settles in and I become to feel heavy. My weight crumbles inwards and I am lost in absent thoughts. The insignificant words of the patrons start to blend into my drunken mind as the alcohol submerges my memories into a forgotten past. But then I hear it. It really shouldn't have startled me, but it did. There it goes again. The sound of a pool stick has hit a pool ball. The noise is almost identical to that of a gun. Memories flash back at once. The front, the nightmares, everything I fought for. My life, my country, I can't stand it. These memories stand around me, haunting me everywhere I go. I can't get rid of it. They will stay forever. My eyes start to water. I scramble out of the bar. No one must see me cry. I head to Kat's house. I have to tell them. It's for the better. They must know their son is dead. They can't spend the rest of their lives living in hope. Hope that will never arrive. Hope that died a month ago. Hope that was like a big brother to me. A protector. I ring the doorbell. No one comes. I ring the doorbell again. Again, no one comes. Luckily, there was no lock, or I might have frozen to death. I let myself in. There she is, the most sincere woman I'd ever seen in my life. She's sitting by the fire, solemnly staring down at a portrait of her son. I must tell her. "Excuse me, ma'am, but I was a friend of Kat's, and there's something I need to tell you." She looks up at me. Whimpering, she asks, "Is my baby all right?" "Yes, he's more than all right. He's dead, and he doesn't have to suffer any longer. He sacrificed his life for you, and all you do is selfishly sit around wishing things were better. He gave up so much and was always there for me to help me get through the war. But he's dead now, and I don't think either of us can stand this dreadful world without him. I'm afraid not. He died a month ago. I'm sorry, I finally say. Whether she was disappointed in herself or her country, I will never know. I grab her hands. With tears I say, but he was a good man, and he fought for his country. He gave up his life for your security. He has brought honor to Germany. With that, I must leave. I head to the door. I look back. Maybe I shouldn't leave her, but I can't stand watching even more pain. I leave. I walk down the street. My loneliness haunts me with the memories of my fellow comrades. They are more honorable than me. They gave up their lives. I know. I watched it happen. The snow punches me with the disgrace I have brought upon my country. My years in war were but an unnecessary amount of watching people die. The men that fell are more glorious. They don't go and make a mother's life terrible, or hobble around Germany drunk. I fall to the ground. The earth is all I have now. I can't breathe. My lungs are compressing. I grasp for air, but it's all gone now. The pain feels so comfortable as I am grasped by the hands of death. I died on that silent, snowy night. People that found me said that they had never seen such a more happy man, but they didn't and will never know what I went through. Thank you.